Ever wondered what would happen if the Earth, our giant spinning top in space, suddenly decided to take a 1-minute break? It sounds like the plot of a disaster movie, but let's dive into the mind-boggling science of what would unfold if the Earth stopped rotating for just 60 seconds. First, let's get our bearings. The Earth spins on its axis at a blistering speed. At the equator, you're moving at over 1,600 kilometers per hour, or about 1,000 miles per hour. Even if you're in a city like London or New York, you're still zipping along at over 1,000 kilometers per hour. We don't feel this incredible speed because everything around us, the atmosphere, the oceans, the ground beneath our feet, is moving along with us. It's like being in a car cruising at a constant speed. You don't feel the motion until someone hits the brakes. Now, imagine hitting those brakes. Hard. The moment the Earth stops, inertia takes over. Newton's first law of motion states that an object in motion stays in motion. While the solid ground beneath you comes to a screeching halt, everything not bolted down would continue moving at that original incredible speed. Picture this. You, your house, trees, cars, buildings, animals, everything would be instantly flung eastward at hundreds of miles per hour. It would be the most catastrophic, supersonic wipeout imaginable. Nothing would survive this initial jolt. The force would be so immense that it would pulverize everything on the surface, creating a global disaster zone in an instant. The landscape would be scoured clean, as if by a colossal invisible bulldozer. But what about the oceans? This is where things get even more biblical. The oceans, vast bodies of water with immense inertia, would not stop with the land. They would surge forward, creating a global tsunami of unimaginable scale. We're not talking about a 30-meter wave. We're talking about a wall of water, kilometers high, scouring the entire planet at supersonic speeds. It would wash over continents in minutes, erasing coastlines and flooding land masses that have never seen the sea. The sheer force would erode mountains and carve new canyons in the blink of an eye. And the atmosphere? It wouldn't stop either. The air, which was moving along with the Earth, would now be a global hyper-hurricane. Winds would gust at speeds far exceeding anything ever recorded, possibly reaching the speed of sound. These winds would generate so much friction against the surface that they would likely ignite, creating a firestorm that would engulf the planet. Anything that survived the initial fling and the mega tsunami would be incinerated. So, within the first few seconds of our 1-minute pause, the surface of the Earth would be an apocalyptic scene, a pulverized, flooded, and burning wasteland. It's a pretty grim picture, and we're not even halfway through our 60-second stop. Let's consider the planet itself. The Earth isn't a perfect sphere, it's an oblate spheroid. It bulges at the equator and is flatter at the poles, precisely because of its rotation. The centrifugal force from spinning pushes mass towards the equator. If that force vanishes, what happens? Gravity takes over completely. The equatorial bulge would begin to relax. The oceans, no longer held in place by rotational forces, would migrate towards the poles, where gravity is slightly stronger. This would cause a dramatic redistribution of water, creating two massive polar oceans and a new supercontinent wrapped around the equator. This shift would trigger a series of cataclysmic earthquakes and volcanic eruptions as the Earth's crust adjusts to the new shape. The planet would literally be reshaping itself beneath our, non-existent feet. But remember, this pause is only for 60 seconds. What happens when the Earth starts spinning again? After 1 minute of utter chaos, the Earth suddenly lurches back into motion, attempting to regain its 1,600 km/h spin. This would be like hitting the accelerator after a dead stop. The effect would be just as catastrophic as the initial stop, but in reverse. Anything that had settled would be violently thrown westward. The oceans, which had begun migrating to the poles, would be sent sloshing back towards the equator with unimaginable force, creating another set of planet-scouring tsunamis. The tectonic plates, already under immense stress from the stop, would grind and crash against each other as the rotational forces reasserted themselves, leading to a new wave of earthquakes and volcanic activity of a magnitude we can't even comprehend. And what about the day-night cycle? During that 1-minute stop, one side of the planet would be facing the sun, and the other would be in darkness. The side facing the sun would experience 60 seconds of intense, unfiltered solar radiation, essentially being baked. The side in darkness would experience a sudden, extreme drop in temperature. While a minute isn't long, the thermal shock would be significant. After the restart, the chaos would continue for a long, long time. The atmosphere would be a turbulent mess of supersonic winds. The oceans would slosh back and forth for centuries, if not millennia, trying to find a new equilibrium. The Earth's crust would be fractured and unstable. In essence, a 1-minute pause in Earth's rotation would be a planetary reset button. It wouldn't just be a bad day, it would be the end of life as we know it, and the end of the world as we recognize it. The forces involved are simply too great for any structure, natural or man-made, to withstand. So the next time you feel the gentle breeze or watch the sun rise, take a moment to appreciate the silent, steady, and incredibly important spin of our planet. It's the constant, reliable motion that makes our world a habitable, beautiful place. Let's be glad it doesn't plan on taking a coffee break anytime soon. It's a fascinating, terrifying thought experiment that really puts the power of cosmic mechanics into perspective. What other what-if scenarios do you wonder about? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for joining me on this mind-bending journey. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more cosmic questions, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Until next time, stay curious.